No word for religion exists in biblical Hebrew. Jacob, one of Israel's founding fathers, has a name that literally means deceiver. Right? The Bible includes a book declaring everything is meaningless, sounding like 20th century existentialism. The Bible isn't what most people think, not a rule book, not saint stories, not systematic theology. It's something far more interesting and far more human. Today we unlearn 3 assumptions about Scripture. Misconception 1. The Bible is a single book. It's not. It's an anthology, a library, spanning centuries, multiple authors, and radically different genres. Think about what's actually in there. Historical narrative, law codes, ritual instructions, prophetic oracles, love poetry, wisdom proverbs, psalms of lament and praise. These weren't written by one person with one perspective. They emerged from different communities, different eras, different life circumstances. Right? Here's what matters. Later communities chose to include conflicting voices together. Right? They didn't edit out the contradictions. They preserved the dissonance. The library contains arguments with itself. Right? Consider 3 wisdom books sitting side by side. Proverbs celebrates human reason. Study hard, learn from elders, and the wisdom will guide you to a good life. The tone is optimistic, instructional, confident. Ecclesiastes scoffs at all of it. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity. The wise die just like fools. Nothing you accomplish lasts. The tone is existentialist, skeptical, almost nihilistic. Job challenges conventional piety directly. A righteous man suffers horribly while his friends insist he must deserve it. The book refuses easy answers. Its tone is bitter, questioning, unresolved. All 3 preserved together. No editorial note explaining which one is correct. The anthology holds the tension. Misconception 2. Biblical heroes are moral exemplars. They're not. They're psychologically realistic humans, flawed, complex, sometimes scandalous. Hagiography, literature about saints' lives, came later, mostly in the Christian era. Those stories sanitize their subjects, presenting superhuman virtue. The Hebrew Bible does something different, right? It presents humans as humans, right? The text makes no claim that its characters are perfect. It doesn't ask you to imitate them uncritically. If we work too hard to vindicate these characters because they're in Scripture, we miss the moral sophistication entirely. Jacob, his name means heel grabber or deceiver. He lives up to it. He tricks his brother Esau out of his birthright. He deceives his blind father Isaac to steal his brother's blessing. The patriarch of Israel is a con man. Joseph, not a humble hero, an arrogant, spoiled teenager who flaunts his favored status. He tells his brothers about dreams where they bow down to him. They hate him for it. The text doesn't blame them. Judah, patriarch of the royal line, he abandons his obligation to his widowed daughter-in-law Tamar, then sleeps with someone he thinks is a prostitute, who turns out to be Tamar in disguise. The subject matter throughout is adult. Treachery, incest, murder, rape, genocide. The Bible doesn't sanitize human experience. This isn't gratuitous, it's honest. Right? The text speaks to people courageous enough to acknowledge that life contains pain alongside joy. Right? That families can be brutal. Right? That leaders can fail catastrophically. Right? That justice doesn't always arrive. Right? Reading these stories as simple moral lessons, right? Be like David, have faith like Abraham, flattens their complexity. These are explorations of human nature, not instruction manuals for virtue. Misconceptions 3. The Bible is systematic theology. No Hebrew word for religion exists. The concept didn't work the same way in the ancient Near East. Modern Western religion centers on belief. What doctrines do you affirm? What propositions do you accept as true? Ancient Israelite practice centered on belonging. Whose community do you join? Whose customs do you follow? Whose faith do you share? right? Becoming Israelite was like naturalization, becoming a citizen of a people. You revered their law, followed their practices, accepted their destiny as your own. It wasn't primarily about intellectual assent to theological claims. The Bible treats moral and existential questions, profound ones, but it does so through story, song, poetry, and metaphor, not philosophical abstraction, not systematic doctrine. When you look for propositional statements, here is what you must believe, you find surprisingly few. What you find instead are narratives that explore situations, poems that express anguish and hope, laws embedded in stories about their origins, prophecies that speak to specific historical moments. The Bible invites interpretation. It doesn't deliver prepackaged conclusions. That's a feature, not a bug. So, what changes when you read the Bible this way? First, read for the dissonance. When you encounter contradictions, don't rush to harmonize them. Ask what different human experience each voice represents. Proverbs speaks from prosperity and order. Ecclesiastes speaks from disillusionment. Job speaks from undeserved suffering. Each voice is true to its context. The anthology preserves all three because human life contains all three. The contradictions aren't problems to solve. They're windows into the range of human experience the text honors. Second, let characters be human. When a biblical figure does something terrible, resist the urge to explain it away. Don't invent excuses the text doesn't provide. Don't assume they must have had good reasons. Ask instead, what is this story exploring about human nature? What does Jacob's deception reveal about family dynamics and favoritism? What does Judah's failure reveal about obligation and desperation? The moral sophistication emerges when you let the characters be as complicated as the text presents them. Third, look for the questions, not just answers. Right? The Bible rarely moralizes directly. It presents situations, it shows consequences, it lets you sit with ambiguity. Right? When Abraham nearly sacrifices Isaac, the text doesn't explain what we should conclude. When Job's friends offer theological explanations for his suffering, the text ultimately rejects them, but doesn't replace them with better theology. The Bible explores moral situations and invites you to draw conclusions. It trusts readers to wrestle. That wrestling is the point. Here's what we've unlearned. The Bible isn't a single book. It's an anthology preserving conflicting voices together. Biblical characters aren't moral exemplars. They're psychologically complex humans with serious flaws. Ancient Israelite religion wasn't about believing doctrines. It was about belonging to a community and sharing its faith. These shifts don't diminish the Bible. Right? They reveal what it actually is, a library of human voices wrestling with existence. The Bible wasn't dropped from heaven as a finished manuscript. Right? That belief came later. Right? It was formulated, edited, and transmitted by humans asking the deepest questions. Now, that makes it more honest about what it is, right? And still worth engaging